question.
You're sitting in the end here. Okay. My name again is John Pinnell, and I reside in Independence, Missouri. Briefly, for you who don't know me, I'm degreed in banking and finance. I have graduate coursework in politics, history, economics, and labor law. I'm retired as of last month from the chairman of the board of Go USA Incorporated. A decade before that, I was chairman and CEO of Penngrove Corporation, a small residential developer and builder. In that capacity, we were the only metropolitan construction company using union labor for residential at that point in time. I have knowledge of contracts and things legal. I have retained law firms such as Hush Eppenberger, Stinson Magg, Shook Hardy, and Spencer Fane, never for civil or criminal, merely for business. I have knowledge of building trades, engineering, surveying, construction drawings, as-built construction drawings, construction contracts, insurance, workers' comp, general liability, etc., and performance bonds. I also have been delving into politics over the last few years. I understand the concepts and the statute, enabling statutes involving tax increment financing, neighborhood improvement districts, and transportation improvement districts, and other various means of funding through political subdivisions. I have attended meetings of the Bi-State Tax Commission. I've been in contact with the surrounding metropolitan mayors with regard to that, both in person and on the phone. I'm a Jackson County resident. I do pay my taxes. I am current, never been delinquent, never on business nor personal, and my CPA does my accounting for me. I'm a lifelong Democrat, and I am in favor of the bi-state tax. Let's see, as far as doing my homework, here's a stack of homework that I've gone out to the Sports Authority about 7 times in the last 4 weeks. I've read the Royals lease, the Royals management agreement, the Chiefs lease, the Chiefs management agreement, the memorandum of understanding, the First Amendment to the leases, the Second Amendment to the management contract, and the entirety of the 2004 minutes. So I'm getting up to speed with what the challenges and issues are for the Sports Authority. To address the question of why would I be in favor of the bi-state tax, I am in favor of the bi-state tax for basically 2 strong reasons. First of all, the sports teams, Major League sports teams, are a regional asset. They should be funded and regionally, I believe. I believe in the initiative Kay Barnes led earlier this year, One Kansas City. I think a great place to invoke that is with a regionally funded Major League sports complex. The second most important reason to be in favor of the bi-state tax has to do with the amended lease agreement, which is currently developed from the Memorandum of Understanding, which has now been signed and acknowledged. In it, it touches on areas such as naming rights for the stadium will be for sale, 10% parking user fees, get the stadiums up in compliance with ADA, which is the American Disabilities Act, includes new master plan projects totaling $180 million roughly for each team, and a new stadium club will be funded through the management agreements by the teams. But the key concept and point in the new amended lease agreement that the bi-state becomes a part of is the need for correcting a deficiency in the original leases in 1990, which has been addressed by the Sports Authority in the past 14 years, and this is their solution for that. The lease agreement, as signed with the Chiefs and Royals, requires that we pass this bi-state tax in order for this agreement to go forward. The reason is, according to one of the documents I did read, was the audit from last year from Clara McCaskill's office, which is a rather scathing audit. I would encourage you all to read it. But in terms of the funding, it says that we are going to be deficient by the tune of $53 million at the end of the current lease if we do not pass the bi-state 2. So that's the reason for the renegotiation at this time, is to extend the term of the lease 15 years, not 25, although it's a 25-year agreement. It extends from 2015 to 2030. In terms of that, it's imperative that we find a funding source. It hasn't been done or addressed over the past 14 years. Now, one other amendment I want to touch on, and I'll wrap up. In the lease agreements, is the requirement for additional pursuit of funding sources in order to meet this $53 million deficit, which, by the way, would be 73 if Kansas City wasn't voluntary kicking in $2 million a year. But the one thing I'd like to point out is that in talking with the Director or Department of Revenue Auditor last week, the stadium complex does qualify as an amusement facility. That means it does qualify for tax increment financing. Had we been utilizing that funding mechanism, we could have been in the neighborhood of $8 to $15 million per year captured on site. We wouldn't be in the deficit situation currently. And there are other options we could explore as well.
Thank you. Are there questions
Yeah,
for Mr. Pinnell?
I've got a question. You mentioned the audit from McCaskill,
Yeah.
and I've got it here. I've read it, and I don't know if my legislators here have read it, but you bring a valid point, which I think a lot of people are missing here, and that is you're saying that what this says is there was a shortfall from about 90 on, and we're asking, we've got actually Sports Authority people that are trying to come back to us that were involved in this. So that might have a play on, I don't know all the ramifications of why, but I do know that there was a master plan, what I'm reading here, and that there was a scope of work to be done. And I don't know if things got pushed back or not, but that's going to probably have an effect on who I choose on the Sports Authority, based on what you're saying there on this report that McCaskill gave out. Thank you for identifying that.
I'd like to invite you all to the Arts Symposium that's put on by Johnson, the president of the Johnson County Community College. And if you'd like to go as my guest, that's available. It's put on by the Kansas City Chamber of Commerce. It involves a regional solution. Again, they will be eligible for the bi-state too, and I'll be attending that. So if you haven't received an invitation or like some information, I'll be happy to forward that to you, or you can go as my guest.
Thank you. Next is Alex Petrovich.